Welcome back to Blacks in Motion. And like I said before the break, we're going to talk about social issues showing up in professional sports. You know, in our society, we hold our athletes and celebrities in a real high light. So whenever they take time to address social issues, it can have a very great impact in our society. But this has happened in sports before. In 1967, Muhammad Ali refused to be inducted into the army because of his religion, in which he had become a Muslim, and he said that it was wrong. They threatened to put him in jail. Before they actually imprisoned him, they held a summit in which high-profile athletes of the time showed up to show support for Muhammad Ali, who was the best boxer at the time. So you had the likes of Bill Russell, Jim Brown, and Lou Alcindor, now Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, go all the way to Cleveland to show support for Muhammad Ali. 1 year later, in the Olympics in Mexico, John Carlos and Tommy Smith both win medals in their respective races. They get up on the trophy stand and hold up the Black Power fist of solidarity to show of the bad race relations that was going on in America at the time. So fast forward to 2014, we have a very controversial decision happen in Ferguson, Missouri. So what happens? These players come out of the tunnel while they're introduced, and they do the thing that most protesters were doing in Ferguson when they were protesting, and that is they put their hands up and said, "Don't shoot." Those guys came out doing this in protest of the decision that came out of Ferguson, Missouri. I think it was a great sign of solidarity. But what happened? The St. Louis Police Association got upset. They actually wrote a letter to the NFL and said, look, you should fine those guys and penalize those guys. They're ignoring the evidence. The last time I checked, we have freedom of speech as citizens. We also don't have to agree with everything that comes from the government. Some things we can vote on, some things we can't. So if those guys came out in a silent, peaceful protest and just showing their hands in support of peace in Ferguson, not necessarily one side or the other, I don't understand why they had that reaction. That's why I applaud the NFL's reaction in saying, hey, we're not going to find those guys or discipline them. And also I'd like to say my hats off to the St. Louis Rams organization for following suit of the NFL and not punishing those guys. Look, I think it is a great stage. Sports in our society is so high on everybody's radar. It's great when individuals that we sometimes forget are not just players on a team come out and say something and address a social issue that we all have to deal with. So I applaud those guys. I applaud the St. Louis Rams, and I also applaud the NFL in this juncture. They fumbled the ball on a few other things. But hey, like I said, I think it was a great sign of solidarity. So before I sign off, what I want you to do is always give me your responses. Contact me, cliff@blackvideonews.com. And with my hands up and don't shoot, always stay logged on and love us right here at Blacks in Motion.